That's what I would do. Well, here's a quick pitch from Milkweed 66. Once in a while, my mind wanders to ideas for movies, and I came up with an idea tailor-made for Matt and Trey. Dante's Inferno. Dante was indirectly.
Well, that's already an idea.
Dante was indirectly taking shots at the a-holes of his day. Somebody should have done this already, but I don't think anyone has, and it's got Matt and Trey written all over it.
Wait, what's the idea?
Dante's Inferno.
They do a new Dante's Inferno, but
like a movie.
But that is the show anyway. It's just, they make fun of the people they don't like, and there have been 8 million episodes of them going to hell in the show. That's in the fucking movie. I
don't think this is. What's that person's name who posted that?
Milkweed 66.
Sorry, Milkweed 66. I'm gonna go ahead and say that's a bad idea that you've come up with.
Yeah.
So it's not Milkweed 69. I'm guessing they were born in 66. So this is someone in their mid 50s just spitballing.
That's a good point. The next one I saw was from Muso Miata. And he said, I think they made a mistake when Scott Tenorman was still butthurt in 201. So we know Scott and Cartman had a falling out in season 5. Scott did some things. Cartman did some things. It got pretty nasty.
Okay, so that's kind of funny. They're kind of goofing because obviously Cartman made him eat his own parents, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's what Cartman did. So this guy's kind of being a little silly when they say, hey, he did some things, he did some things. Now, when was this posted? This was posted like 2004 or something like that?
February 4th, 2023 at 4 p.m.
Hey, cool.
And he goes, and then in season 9, when Cartman thought he was a ghost, he decided to make everything right, and Scott forgave him. It's over. Scott's happy. Cartman's happy. So why was Scott butthurt in season 14? There had to be no interaction between him and Cartman since season 9. So
why did there have to be like?
Well, it was like a background joke in one episode of them making up, and then later when they get to the 200th episode, they decide, man, we want him to still want revenge on Cartman. That's all for. Though I mean, the 200th episode doesn't even exist anymore because it was one where they wanted to do. It was them back on their sawhorse of being mad that they can't show Muhammad on the show. And it was a whole thing. It got censored by Comedy Central, which obviously that I'm sure there were many posts about that on this forum as well back then.
And maybe still to this day, from what we're reading, there might be still people posting about it.
Well, luckily he got an answer from Big Will, our favorite board.
Big Willie.
And he said Cartman did want to make things right again, so he handed out baskets to everyone he wronged. Scott was at the cemetery sobbing over his parents' death when Cartman and Butters gave him a basket. This doesn't mean Scott forgave him. It means he appreciated the thought, but probably thought about it later and figured out that it's fucked up. The boy who had his parents killed and made into chili all of a sudden gives him a basket. What kind of sick fuck does that? It makes sense that Scott is still butthurt in 201. The other thing that's wrong in that scene is the graves. If Scott's parents were made into chili, there would be no bones to bury. So Scott shouldn't have
you can bury. You can still just. They often do that. They still have a headstone, but there's not a body.
It's not. These are extremely literal people here.
I mean, I think Cartman must have dressed the parents like a deer. He hung them from a tree and skinned them.
There
was enough to bury.
Yes, that. Also, by the way, bringing up episode unearthed another memory of why I fell off watching South Park. Of like Bob was talking about earlier, for once you interact with not other people different from you. So I was working at a video store in Berkeley, California, and it's a rather diverse area, but we put on stuff on the TV, and we put on South Park episodes. Like, you know what? It's the last hour. It's 10 to 11. Let's put on South Park. We put on that episode, and there's a joke in the episode where Cartman thinks he's dead, and only Butters can see him. And then Butters says, "Oh, don't you think you're going to go to hell?" And then Cartman says, "Butters, I'm not going to hell. I'm not black." And
Jesus,
that was one of those moments where if you're alone in your home watching it, like, that's one thing. But people were people just walked into the store who were not white, and
Ooh.
that line is said, and that was the first time I was like, oh boy, I'm embarrassed right now. This was a mistake.
Yeah,
But
it's like maybe like people do change, like maybe sometimes people go a little more edgy or some people go a little lighter or whatever. But these guys, I mean, even Trey and Matt, from what I'm hearing about the newer seasons, the more PC stuff, is that like they are going back and like trying to fix some of the mistakes of the past, which I think is cool. Like that actually makes them good.